Welcome to St Andrews, the field of dreams. Yes, Birmingham City have enough games in hand to make an impression on Division 1, but Port Vale believe they have their measure. Hello, there are two ways out of this division. Birmingham City were dreaming of a stretch limo at the front door. The fans are dreading a skip lorry at the back. Surely it won't come to that, but they are fifth from bottom. Life at St Andrews has been distinctly uncomfortable for Trevor Francis lately. The fortress has collapsed. 3 successive home defeats, 9 goals conceded. It began with West Brom, 2-3. And then came Portsmouth, the most improved side in the table, 0-3.
Birmingham fans beginning to drift away from the ground.
But the biggest humiliation was at the feet of Wrexham from Division 2. So much for the FA Cup run. John Rudge has a different challenge. No problem taking the lead, but holding on to it is another matter. The most graphic example was on Central Match Live. Vale 4-0 up at half-time against QPR. By the finish, it was fraught and 4-4, and they were glad to hear the whistle.
It's there though, from Spencer. Absolutely amazing. It's 4-4.
How could we forget that? But it's a very strong Birmingham lineup for a team fifth from bottom.
Definitely, they've got a lot of quality right throughout the side, but reputations don't count for much in this league. And unless you're on top of your game, you're going to struggle.
Score?
I think Birmingham are going to win this game, maybe 2-3-1.
I reckon 4-2. But let's hear from the respective managers now. They're talking to Gary Newbon.
Why have you lost 4 successive matches? What's been behind that?
Well, for the majority of this season, we've been very, very good defensively. Up until 2 weeks ago, we had the best defence in the league, but we've suddenly hit a spell now when we're conceding too many goals. The cup exit last week revolved around the sending off of Port Vale. We couldn't cope with 11 against 10, but I feel that some of the results that we've had in the last 3 or 4 games, we haven't played well, but the scoreline has certainly flattered the opposition. Now it's up to us today to go about keeping a clean sheet and trying to score at the other end. If you do that, you've got a chance of winning football matches.
John, Port Vale against Queen's Park Rangers, one of the best live games we've ever covered. Now you're playing 5 in midfield today. Are you going to still play good football today?
Who said we were playing 5, Gary?
Well, you are.
we've played 5 in midfield away from home a lot this season, and it's done very well for us. We've got a good away record, and we'll have a look, see how that goes. The Queen's Park Rangers game, I mean, don't remind me of that game. I mean, to be truthful, I mean, it was great for the television, but I was shell-shocked, to be honest.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
So she drove it. Aye, we found her miles away from the car.
Nothing. Let's take it in.
I'll drive it.
So, how do you feel now?
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I'll drive it.
The new Mitsubishi Colt. It's too much for some people. Insure with Guardian Direct. And when you have a problem, there's always someone you can turn to. Make just one call and we'll start sorting it out immediately. We'll authorize one of our approved repairers to get you back on the road as quickly as possible. We'll even lend you a free courtesy car. All these services with low prices too. You've always got someone to turn to. Guardian Direct. For a free quote or immediate cover, call 0800 282820.
Did you have fun at Disneyland Paris?
Oh, we're too old for all that.
1997, the year to be here. It's our 5th anniversary and every day is party day. Someone you know can't wait to go. Disneyland Paris. Call for your free brochure on 0990 030303.
Pepsi Max, full cooler taste, no sugar.
Little Miss Carefree decided to take Mr. Worry away for a few days. Mr. Worry was worried about the driving and the traffic jams. But they didn't have to drive. He was worried about the costs, but their new twosome tickets were such good value. In fact, Mr. Worry didn't have to worry about anything. Well, much. Coventry to London is only £32 return with the new twosome ticket. Intercity. Think about it.
For some exciting new services from a real building society, call into the Staffordshire. You'll be among friends.
Come in and be among friends.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
For Birmingham City, this is the first day in the rest of a season which promised so much. For Port Vale, a chance to repeat that 3-0 hiding at Burslem earlier in the season. John, isn't it nice to see Mike Newell back in action? 5 months since he began again for Birmingham.
Yeah, great. I mean, he had his differences with Trevor Francis early on this season, but he's back now, and I'm sure he'll be keen to re-establish himself here.
He's the sort of player who you would think would make a big impression in this division.
Definitely. I mean, when he signed from Blackburn, he thought, what a good signing for Birmingham City. But as yet, it hasn't come into fruition, but I'm sure he'll be looking to get some goals.
Do you honestly think Birmingham can still make it, get promoted?
I mean, this league has proved that if you can put a good run together, I mean, Portsmouth are flying high. If you can put 6-7 wins together, you're going to be thereabouts the playoffs. And once you're in there, you know, you've got a great chance.
OK, well, let's not forget that Port Vale have a tremendous away record. It's over now to Peter Brackley and Ron Atkinson.
Yes, a very good afternoon, everyone, and a very important one it is too then for two clubs anxious to swing their respective seasons back on course after recent setbacks. It's like a cup final for us. Birmingham owner David Sullivan has dramatically dubbed it. Such is his concern that the Blues' decline is promptly arrested, while Port Vale know that defeat for them today will be a serious jolt to their hopes of maintaining a promotion challenge. Well, Trevor Francis has settled on this Birmingham side as he bids to end that run of 4 successive defeats in all 3 changes from the side bundled out of the FA Cup by Wrexham. Martin O'Connor, who was cup-tied last week, returns in the centre of midfield alongside Barry Horn. Anders Limpar has passed a fitness test to resume wide on the left. And at fullback, Martin Granger is recalled after suspension at the expense of Michael Johnson. Paul Devlin is suffering from a gashed knee, but is OK to start. And Francis then has settled on Mike Newell to partner him up front. Newell, of course, having come off the transfer list earlier this week. It's the former Blackburn man's first league start since early October. He's made his peace with the manager and now hopes the Birmingham supporters will accept him again as well. Port Vale manager John Rudge doesn't have too many options given the size of his squad. Today he's playing then a 5-man midfield with Tony Naylor as the one striker. Indeed, it's the formation that Rudge has often deployed successfully away from home, with Stuart Talbot now fit again after injury, filling in as the extra man in midfield. Much depends, as usual, of course, on the 2 wingers, John McCarthy and Steve Guppy. At the back, Neil Aspin's recent return has helped compensate for the continued loss of Gareth Griffiths. And Dean Stokes is preferred at left-back today to Alan Tankard. It's a real opportunity for Steve Guppy to underline his value, having rejected Vale's offer of a new contract. A live televised match is the perfect shop window for him to convince prospective buyers of his worth. Here's the referee today. It's Rob Harris from Oxford. All set to get us underway. Port Vale in the white shirts, dark shorts, attacking the goal to our right. Only Norwich, West Brom and Portsmouth have beaten Birmingham here in the league this season. But 2 of those defeats have come in the last 2 games, and Port Vale will be setting their sights today on a 7th away win. Aspect with a header away. Winning his father was Chris Holland, the England under-21 international. Now it's Devlin. Newell's in the centre, and O'Connor. Good save though by Paul Musselwhite. So a positive opening by Birmingham. Ron Atkinson alongside me here. What are your thoughts on the prospects today?
Thoughts on this particular situation is that I think maybe Paul Devlin should have produced a better ball there. I think really he should have been digging that out to the far post where Anders Limpar had got a bit of space. In general, I think it's a bigger game for Birmingham than it is for Vale. I think if Birmingham don't win it, you can discount any chance they've got of promotion or making the playoffs.
This is Devlin. He's had stitches in his knee injury, but doesn't seem to be suffering any ill effects. Good strong tackle though by Andy Hill. Ablett finding Granger. Now Limpar, another man who had been doubtful right up until this morning, injured in training, as was Devlin. Also Jason Bowen, who hasn't made it this afternoon. There's the scattering figure of Limpar again. O'Connor to Granger. Mule lurking in the centre. This is O'Connor, striking for goal. Martin O'Connor, who has scored a couple of times since his move from Peterborough.
Yeah, he'll get the licence, Martin O'Connor. He's been good at that over the years, hitting the opposition's box. Picked up a loose drop there. Good shot. He'll go forward most of the time, while Barry Horn just does the sitting job in midfield.
Naylor. This is Granger to Limpar. Now Gary Ablett playing alongside Bruce, then at the heart of that back line for Birmingham. Overhitting the passer in search of Devlin. 15 goals, he's the leading scorer for Birmingham, and comfortably so this season. Paul Furlong left out today to accommodate the return of Mike Newell.
Yeah, that might be interesting, that Devlin and Newell as a pairing. Newell obviously hasn't hit it off since he's been at the Blues, but he is an excellent player. I mean, it was only, well, it's just over 12 months ago, he was getting hat-tricks in Europe. Just why it hasn't come off, heaven only knows, but that might be an interesting pairing, because he's good at showing for the ball, he's good at holding it up, whereas little Devlin likes to just bomb on and try and pick up all the scraps.
Aspin with the free kick. Away by Granger, then Limpar. This is Andy Hill. Naylor linking with Ian Bogie. Now Porter, who does such a good solid job for Port Vale in the heart of that midfield. McCarthy's ball in. And some alert goalkeeping by Ian Bennett.
Some great build-up from Vale there. A terrific ball inside the fullback here from Bogie. And this is what McCarthy does. He just puts that ball into the little area. Possibly a touch close on the keeper. Possibly might have wanted a little bit more drive into the box from midfield players.
Ablett, the defender here against Tony Naylor, who is Vale's leading marksman this season, also with 15. Ablett tidying up for Birmingham.
The other thing, you know, it's a bit false we talk about John Rudge playing a five-man midfield. I think what he does, he asks his two wide players to pull right in alongside and help out when they lose possession. But basically, both McCarthy and Guppy are attacking players.
Yes, it's actually positive and ambitious to play with two wingers. Not too many teams do that. That's Andy Hill having to concede the corner. Very experienced defender, of course, the former Manchester City man.
Yeah, safety first there from Andy Hill. I felt actually Paul Musselwhite might have helped him out with a little call. He could probably have just chested it down to the keeper, but caution.
Limpar will take this corner kick. Steve Bruce has come up for the back. He, of course, got his first goal in that cup defeat by Wrexham last week for Birmingham. O'Connor. Now Barry Horn.
Yeah, don't remind me. Every time, and I've seen Blues play a lot this season, every time I come here, you know, I usually have a good bet on Bruce for the first goal. And I actually didn't come last week.
I tell you what, he's been close on several occasions, but he finally put away a real stormer last week. But of course, it was to no avail as Wrexham ran out the winners to the obvious dismay of Trevor Francis. But he's been upbeat, the manager, this week, being positive about it all. And I think his message to the fans is be patient.
And if you look at the side, I mean, it's loaded with experience. It's got a nice balance about it. I just wonder from time to time whether a lot of the Birmingham lads who've played in the higher division still try and play, if you like, higher division football, where possibly now and again it might be that just raw aggression, competitiveness might be needed.
Too much aggression being shown there for the referee's liking. It's a free kick to Port Vale. We've actually won only 2 of the last 9 in League and Cup, but are still very much in the promotion picture. There's an injury over on the far side. Kenny Brown, who was caught then as he played the ball away. I think it's okay. Kenny Brown, who came, of course, from West Ham a few weeks back and has settled in very quickly. I think to a certain extent he has exceeded expectations. Trevor Francis paying us around 75,000 for his services after initially he'd come on loan. Ian Bogey. He'll be supplying the craft in midfield. The likes of Talbot and Porter weighing in with the graft. But they have used this system, as I was saying earlier, away from home with 5 in midfield, or 2 wingers and 3 in midfield. And it's certainly had its reward for them. Steve Guppy and Porter. It's Guppy to curl it over. And behind for the goal kick, I think off Naylor. Tony Naylor then, the lone front man today. At home they tend to play with 2 up, maybe Mills, maybe Foyle. They're both on the bench today. Buell with Glover. And the former Aston Villa man gets the better of him. Brown. Devlin's run here, stretching Glover. Great run by Devlin too. Penalty. No hesitation at all from the referee. It's a penalty to Birmingham.
I'll be very, very interested to see the replay of this. Great run from Devlin, but I've got my doubts about whether that was a foul.
Well, he had the leg certainly on Glover. I don't think he made contact, Ron.
I think he made contact, and the referee had no hesitation. I mean, that's good pace. That's good pace. That's great pace.
Terrific acceleration.
He will say that he'll probably think he's got something on the ball there, Glover.
Devlin himself will take this kick for Birmingham and scores emphatically. 8 minutes gone, Birmingham in front, and it's Devlin with his 16th of the season. Well, I felt it was a penalty. I think he mistimed that, Glover. But certainly it was the speed off the mark of Devlin that embarrassed him.
Oh, it's Devlin. I mean, he smashes this, no hesitation. I mean, the goalkeeper's a big, imposing figure, and he's just hit the back of the ball, and as so often happens, the keeper goes one way, and he's virtually hit that straight into the spot where the keeper's just vacated.
Well, Trevor Francis was deliberating long and hard about who to play up front today. There had been this doubt over Devlin because of his gashed knee. He was delighted, I know, that Devlin was available to play, and I'm sure had no hesitation in including him once he was declared fit. But I saw the injury, and it was quite a nasty gash.
You wouldn't have thought so. You wouldn't think he was hampered the way he went down that inside right gully. That's twice he's been through there already.
Here's
one when he
Bruce.
produced the low cross, and the one when he just created a penalty for himself.
Glover, the defender. And he was caught out by the blistering pace of Devlin.
Yeah, I think he thought he had plenty of time there, Dean Glover, to get over and see the thing off. And I think Devlin surprised him with his acceleration.
Oh, there's speculation at the moment about a possible Scotland call-up for Devlin. He will have done his prospects no harm with that early goal, and the part that he played in the penalty award. Granger. It's been a bright opening by Birmingham. This is Chris Holland. Brown marauding down that right side, but no quality on the cross. He's the first to acknowledge that. Certainly, as Ron was saying, when you look through this Birmingham team, there is quality there, and if they can gel, they can get it together. Who knows what they still might achieve this season. They've had a great start. Abbott wins it in the air, but then Porter playing it on now for Andy Hill. Slip at the vital moment from Talbot. He's had 6 weeks out with this shin problem. It's his first start since the turn of the year. Ablett. Still wearing that light plastic cast on his damaged wrist. Brown. Now Holland. 2 teams to favour a passing game. Naylor offside, only just there. Granger, I thought, almost played him on. Tony Naylor, who was really sharp and of scored twice in Port Vale's win over Birmingham back in November, and it was quite a humiliating afternoon that for Brum. Well beaten that day. So they will have revenge on their minds this afternoon. This is Newell. Now Horn. Guppy on the break for Port Vale. Options right and left. He's failed to find McCarthy. Now it's O'Connor for Birmingham. Newell staying onside. Well, not quite. Looking across at the linesman, and he just strayed too soon then, Newell. But Trevor Francis has been very pleased with his approach, his attitude in training this week. And Newell himself is anxious to make a go of things at St Andrews. Hill's kick. Dealt with by O'Connor, and Abbott between them. Ian Bennett established as the #1 at Birmingham. Steve Sutton is out through injury at the moment. And they've signed Mark Gale on loan from Crewe as cover. Limpar. Granger to Devlin. Aspin was very tight with his challenge, and a foul also then by Andy Porter. He rather epitomises the determination of this Port Vale side. My Nobby Styles, John Rudge calls him. Scored with a penalty last week in the draw with Ipswich, and that was the first award they've had this season. Limpar, teasing cross in. Guppy, dispossessed though by Bruce. Now it's Holland. Devlin is in the centre. Limpar here at the far post. O'Connor. Granger, the played in. They're onside here. It's a rather panicky defending by Dean Stokes. Under no real pressure.
I think what they tend to do, Port Vale, when they defend, they tend to defend very narrow and leave a fair amount of space on the back post. Even that header of Limpar's that he headed back, I felt he might even consider taking it on his chest.
Limpar taking this corner kick, aiming for the likes of Bruce and Newell. It's not a good one though. Flicked out by Porter, only as far as Barry Horn. O'Connor. Flag is up for offside over on that far flank. Referee hasn't seen the flag. Now he has. All Musselwhite, who didn't really stand too much chance with a penalty kick, was struck with such venom by Devlin. Good closing down by McCarthy. They certainly have plenty of width, Port Vale, with McCarthy down the right and Guppy on the left. McCarthy, who is Wales Player of the Year. Certainly he was in outstanding form in that incredible 4-4 draw with Queen's Park Rangers, which John Rudge does not want to be reminded about. We thought it was good entertainment. Steve Bruce running it out of play. 36 now, Bruce, as enthusiastic as ever. And he really has been an inspired signing. Hill shaking off the challenge of Newell. This is Bogey. He's the man you feel might make things happen from midfield. Now it's Guppy swinging over a dangerous cross. There's some cool defending initially by Limpar. Then Porter to driving back in. That's a terrific goal from Andy Porter. Ian Bennett left dumbfounded by the strength of the shot. Really cracked it away.
I mean, it's a poor clearance in the first place, but full marks to Port. Intercepted it well. I think the keeper made just to get a touch on that. Bit unlucky, Bennett, that he hasn't deflected, but that's a great strike. But it's very, very poor defending from, I think it was Granger. Should have got it well clear from there. All you're interested in is, from that area, you get it up to the halfway line.
1-1. Porter with the equalising goal, his second in successive games.
There's also the result, you know, of Guppy getting forward and producing across to start with. I wondered when he was going to start carrying the fight a little bit.
Yeah, it was the first decent ball he's played in.
Yeah, but he's been in sort of that semi-defensive position for most of the...
There was no real threat at the far post. Limpar controlled it, but then Granger needlessly gave it away.
Yeah, if you're going to clear there, you've got to be hooking up beyond the opposite midfield.
Porter's 4th of the season, and he really enjoyed that one.
I mean, we were set right behind it. You never got the impression it was going anywhere else but in the back of the net.
Here's Gary Ablett. Setback for Birmingham after their rip-roaring start, but now it's Devlin. Well, he's been a tremendous servant to Port Vale down the years, Andy Porter, over a decade at the club. He's been around so long, says John Rudge, and I look upon him as my son.
See, there we go from Martin Grange. I mean, full marks, great strike, unlucky Ian Bennett. But just to reiterate, Martin Granger really should have hoofed that. He should have been clearing that 50 yards.
McCarthy. Ablett covering the run from Talbot.
Also came, I think, completely against the run of the play, because for me, Bale had been a little bit disappointing prior to that. 1 or 2 spasmodic attacks, but nothing. They looked as if they were a little bit afraid of Birmingham, afraid of their reputation.
Devlin. Newell. Conceding possession, though, to Bogey. He's a very skillful footballer. Front check tackle by Granger. Anxious to atone for his earlier error.
Yeah, he's frustrated now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He realises he won't need telling.
Holland.
But I've got a funny feeling he will get told if it stays like this at half-time.
I think the manager might have a word or two about it at half-time. Offside. Port Vale keeping their shape at the back. Plenty of experience there, of course, with Hill and Glover and Aspin.
I feel if Birmingham continue to work the channel zone, keep trying to play balls, particularly in behind the Glover's area, from the area the goal came from, you know, Devlin against any of the back 4 players, I would fancy for pace.
As he has already underlined. Here's Devlin now, being well policed though by Neil Aspin. McCarthy. Foul by Limpar.
I think that's probably been the philosophy of Roger, you know, say to his 2 wide players in away games, sit in there for a while, let's have a look at the game, let's not let the opposition get anything out of it. Now all of a sudden they lose an early goal, so in effect they're forced to carry the fight a little bit.
This is Ian Bogey. Now Porter, the goal scorer. That came off Limpar. Corner to Port Vale.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned Porter, and we've talked about the 2 wide players, and you briefly touched on Bogey. He was the lad that got saddled with the reputation many years ago, wasn't he? He was going to be the new Gazza at Newcastle.
He's had injury problems. He was out for 3 months with a broken leg, Ian Bogey, this season. Guppy's corner. Goal kick. Glover, who was one of the scorers, of course, in that 4-4 draw with Queen's Park Rangers. His first and only goal of the season. Off the head of Stokes. Holland's tackle on Guppy. Now it's Brown. Played it intelligently for Devlin. Good coordination here from Birmingham. Newell. Splendid turn. That's got to combine with Holland. But interestingly, he was booed when he came on last week as a sub viewer, but when he came out today before the kickoff, he was roundly cheered. So hopefully he has been accepted again by the Birmingham fans, who weren't too happy when he went on the transfer list so early in the season. Ablett striding purposefully forward. A good strike too. 20 minutes gone. 2 goals and a fairly lively opening to the match, Ron.
I think it's been a very, very bright start, particularly from Birmingham. I wouldn't have been so surprised if that had got nearer the target as well. He's been very forceful in the early stages, Ablett.
Yet to score since becoming a Birmingham player. One of the former Evertonians, of course.
He's played a left back a fair amount for them, hasn't he? But he always, to me, always appears to be happier either playing left-hand side of 3 or playing alongside a centre-half.
McCarthy. Off goes Talbot. Naylor's in the middle and Guppy calling over on the far side. That could have been interesting how that ball got across.
Yeah, it's good blocking off. Good blocking off from Ablett, because there were people arriving in the penalty box for any sort of decent ball played in there.
Steve Guppy with this corner. Again, Glover has advanced, and Hill. That was McCarthy, and it was well wide of goal from the Northern Ireland international.
Brian Hamilton's just walked in the ground, so presumably that's who he's watching, but I think if he could have just got a slight little glance on this, he's got too much head on it, actually. Just a little glance might have got something towards the danger zone.
Well, there was talk a few weeks back that he might be linking up with Leicester City, who are, of course, interested in Steve Guppy. Aspin facing the threat of Devlin, who is thrustful and lively in this early phase of the match. Here's Devlin now. Brown's cross, an inviting one, fisted out by Musselwhite. Confident punch away by the goalkeeper. Now it's McCarthy, who of course featured against the Italians for the Irish. That's a decent ball. Ian Bogie might have made more of that.
I thought he might have taken that on I thought McCarthy picked him up brilliantly.
This is Guppy now. In for Naylor. An ankle header down, but straight at Ian Bennett. It certainly hasn't been all one way, though.
No, they've started to grow. They're starting to play quite well now, Vale, since they've equalised. They're getting plenty of possession, and they're starting to get plenty of people forward as well.
Well, they certainly have no fears playing away from home, as their record will testify. It's only the 16th they've conceded this season. The penalty from Devlin. Holland. It's a goal kick. I think he's happier in the centre of midfield, Holland, but needs must, and with the arrival of O'Connor, he's been pushed out into that right-sided role.
Yeah, but I think he started there when he was a kid at Preston. I think he played plenty of times in the old-fashioned right-side midfield or orthodox right-wing position for them.
Came, of course, from Newcastle early this season after a loan spell. Never made the breakthrough there, just a handful of appearances at St James's Park. But a very talented player. Of course, he was captain of the Division 1 team against the Italians recently. I think actually it was his misplaced pass that led to their goal, but we won't dwell on that. Limpar. Neat skill. What do you make of him, Ron? Anders Limpar has still some fuel left in his tank, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a player, whenever you've played against him, be it Arsenal or Everton, you've always been aware of him. He's frustrated managers because he seems to have so much in his locker, but he's one of those you daren't leave alone. I think Port Vale are working on the premise that they have, when he has possession, get people to him early and then just force him in field.
Newell is the target here. Devlin. And some pushing by him.
Yeah, Newell will go for everything that's high in the air, and you'll see Devlin just try and run on, anticipating a flick on.
Devlin's tally of 16 is his best for a season now, beating his total for the last campaign. 8 for Notts County, 7 for Birmingham. This season it's 16 now then for the home team here. They've been kept back by Port Vale's recovery. 1-1, 20 minutes of the first half remaining. This is Neil Aspin. Good touch off from Porter to Talbot. Now McCarthy stretching Birmingham. Guppy's the man on the far side, but it's too long for him. Bogie. Guppy. Always a danger when he's in possession. Guppy's cross, dealt with by Bruce, but it's Bogie now. 3 waiting in the middle. Support 2 from Guppy. Porter. A sturdy challenge though by Bruce.
No question, since the equaliser, though, they've grown in stature at Port Vale. I mean, at the moment, you'd probably have to say the last few minutes they've been the better side, or more in control of the game. Although there always does seem a threat from Birmingham.
Well, they were certainly the better side when they met the two teams back in November. And Trevor Francis was saying beforehand, one thing's for certain, we won't play that badly again. He didn't wait for the final whistle that day. He was out of the dugout, back to the dressing room. Kenny Brown. A little trip maybe there by Devlin. He does work so hard.
I think if you spoke to the majority of Blues fans, they'd probably say he's been their best player all season. I mean, it's a good return, the number of goals he's got, and there was a spell early on in the season when he wasn't sure of his place.
I think pre-season he wouldn't have been sure of his place because Furlong and Newell were presumably the first choice.
No, I mean, even after that, he was left out a fair few times when Newell was having his problems. I mean, they used to alternate a little bit with Bowen as well. Bowen used to get the second striking job.
This is Naylor for Port Vale. He's having an excellent season too. That's his 15 goals, we'll emphasise. One of several players out of contract at the end of the season. And there's been a bit of speculation with him that he may go abroad. As of course he will be free to do under the Bosman ruling. Aspin, determined header. I think that was handled though. Yes, it was by McCarthy. The rain's sweeping down now at St Andrews. It's a cold afternoon too.
Good afternoon for football though, isn't it? A little bit too windy, but a good surface for playing on.
Certainly good up here. We're sheltered.
Defenders always reliable to make the odd slip, which all adds to entertaining football.
Limpar with the throw. McCarthy clashing with Granger. Now Naylor's away. Completely through here. Tony Naylor. And that was superb save by Bennett. Just kept his composure, waited for his moment to smother the effort from Naylor. But there is some concern among the Birmingham entourage about Granger, who is down hugging his leg down below us here. But the sudden break opened up Birmingham defensively, and alarmingly so, I'm sure, for Trevor Francis.
I mean, it started with a hell of a clash here. I mean, I thought McCarthy was very, very brave.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the tackle, did he?
Oh no, in fact I thought when he went in he actually looked second favourite. But he was very, very brave, and he managed to get a hell of a ricochet into the path of Naylor, who then did Brucey for pace.
Well, he's in some discomfort here. Martin Granger, who, remember, has only just come back from suspension.
I mean, he goes in here very brave and gets a hook on it. I mean, there's no suggestion of a dangerous play. That's brave play. If you went on the stage from there, you'll see it going on to Naylor, who does Bruce. That was the touch that let him down. That last touch just gave the keeper long enough to get a sighting on it.
Tell you what, Ron, it was a bit more than a winger's tackle from McCarthy, wasn't it? Very, very determined.
It was determined, but it was calculated as well.
In goes Granger. I think he's okay. McCarthy slipped away from him though. Now it's Hawke for Birmingham. Just lost their way a little bit since the equalizer for Port Vale. Scored in thunderous fashion by Andy Porter. Now it's Brown. Support from Granger. Free header away by Glover. Only to Hornbow. Talbot then intelligently wide to Steve Guppy. We're into the last quarter of an hour of the first half. Birmingham 1, Port Vale 1. Limpar. Off goes Devlin. Test here for Aspin. Hill. Devlin first to react. Here's Devlin pulling out to the wide position again. He's got Limpar in support. Played in for O'Connor.
Unlucky. Best bit of Blues play for some time. That's all started with Devlin, who sets Limpar free. Cuts a fair ball back here, and there you see what O'Connor's good at. A midfield player driving at the box. But unfortunately for O'Connor, there's enough white shirts trying to get a full block on him.
And he collided there with Aspin and Stokes, but he's back on his feet.
But I think we're seeing quite an entertaining game. It's a good footballing game, but there's a bit of zest about it as well, isn't there? I think both teams fully realise the importance of it for the rest of the season.
Newell offside.
Yeah, they're playing that a little bit. Port Vale playing that little pushing up a little bit. I'm not too sure that it's a good one. And once or twice Devlin's looked as if he might have exploited it, and Newell was only just offside. A clever run, I think, could disturb that.
That's a foul on Holland. Trevor Francis, who's down on the bench now. Certainly was concerned about the Granger injury, but he seems to be all right. Martin Granger, he's on the ball now.
He's also got Michael Johnson, hasn't he, on the bench who could fill in there anyway.
Yeah. Yes, Granger has come in for Johnson today. Johnson, who surprisingly was caught struggling for pace on Wrexham's final goal last week. That's good defending by Hill on Mike Newell. Newell, who's had only a handful of league starts, he was on the transfer list so quickly into the new season. After he became unsettled.
So this is what I'm on about. They're trying to drive Limpar across the field.
Granger. Everybody back defending apart from Naylor for Port Vale. This is Steve Bruce, the Birmingham captain. He admits he was embarrassed by that cup defeat last week and finds himself in a situation he's not used to being in. The team struggling near the wrong end of the table. Free kick to Port Vale. Devlin penalised. He's such a handful, though. And as I was suggesting earlier on, Craig Brown, the Scottish manager, is fully aware of his potential and what he's been doing this season. So maybe a call-up is not too far away. His father was born near Glasgow, that's the connection.
You're a master of facts. Is it true he keeps snakes?
He does keep, he's got two snakes, yeah. Have you not got any yourself?
I don't mind walking dogs. I don't think I fancy slithering snakes.
Newell. Forward by Horn.
What happens if you had a bad time? Don't tell me you go home and kick.
Sorry?
Don't tell me if you're having a bad match or you get beat, you go home and kick a snake. I can't believe that.
Yes, I've heard some strange runs, but snakes, it's true though. Here's Bruce to tidy up at the back, and such an experienced defender is not going to take too many chances in that situation. Dean Stokes keeping out Alan Tankard then today. Tankard, I gather, is fit, but Stokes has done well in his absence in the last couple of games. Picked on by McCarthy, but harmlessly through to Ian Bennett. Aspin keeping a very watchful eye. There were two of Devlin's run alongside him too, I'm sure. Forward by Horn to O'Connor. Now Brown. This is Gary Ablett to Limpar. He's a real workaholic. O'Connor could make nothing of it though, and that's Porter to hoof it away.
Talk about Limpar. I certainly think Birmingham need him as much as possible higher up the field. They need him to be operating, if he can, in the last third of the field. At the moment, Port Vale have done reasonably well keeping him towards the halfway line areas.
Devlin from the chest out by Newell. Devlin's cross, he just lost his balance then. In goes Newell, who responded very quickly. He was very alert then, Mike Newell. And it was his layoff that instigated a very promising attack.
There's some good combination between Newell and Devlin. Devlin just realises he can't get a striker goal, stands it into the danger zone. Aspin can't get much on the header. Newell unfortunately anticipates it well. Here's it. It's a slow ball in, so Aspin can't really get much on the header. He's going on the back foot. Newell comes flying in, but unfortunately can't make himself the hero. But he certainly looked bright enough. The front two for Birmingham have looked bright enough.
Well, Trevor Francis was saying that he has returned with renewed zest since his loan spell with West Ham, Mike Newell.
Yeah, it's been a mystery to me, that, because I've always thought he's a smashing player.
Well, there were clearly problems early on in the season, but hopefully they put those behind them now. Limpar. As ever, McCarthy is there to close him down. He's blocked his path to goal down this left side. Limpar will lead the throw for Martin Granger. O'Connor has come across. Porter got a foot in though. Limpar. Played in for Newell. No penalty this time. It was a theatrical dive by Limpar. Certainly incensed the Port Vale defenders. They felt he was play acting, and I think they might have a point.
I don't think there's even an argument about that. I also think the
being diplomatic.
I think the Port Vale players have actually got him booked. I think referee Harris would have looked, let the thing go, probably had a quiet word with him, but I think the sort of actions of the Vale players, they're crowding up, and I think he knows it. There he goes. Travels at defenders, flips the little ball in, it stood over the top for him. I thought what he did was unnecessary. I also thought the Port Vale players were a bit unnecessary ganging up on him.
Naylor. The first caution of the afternoon then for Anders Limpar, who has come on a short-term contract from Everton, around £100,000. It could be money well spent. Newell's header. Certainly battling up front, Mike Newell. So is this man, Porter. It was his goal that pulled Port Vale back on level terms after Birmingham, in truth, are threatening to run the show early on.
I think what's happened with Port Vale, where they've arrested a little bit, they've got the extra man in midfield, and be it Bogey or be it Porter, they're getting plenty of freedom when Vale are in possession.
McCarthy. Now it's Ablett. Devlin had shown for him, dragging Aspin out of the centre. Couldn't hold it up though, but he chases his own pass. Horn. O'Connor. Limpar with a piece of sorcery that tripped McCarthy into fouling him. But they're not allowing him a direct run at goal. Maybe they will here. This is Limpar. He's had to cut inside.
Yes, I mean, it's all right to force him infield, but all of a sudden you can't let him go too far because he's got a very, very, very useful right foot. And once they start pushing him in here, once he goes inside one more, now they should be coming out to close him. Can't afford to let him come too far and then have a bang at goal.
Just drops that shoulder and heads off for goal, Anders Limpar. Surplus to requirements, obviously at Goodison Park. He started just one league game. Onside, Talbot. That was an important intervention then by Ablett.
I think Birmingham at the back, Bruce and Ablett have been a little bit lucky on 2 or 3 occasions trying to catch Naylor offside. That time Talbot nearly exploited them.
Brown to Holland. Stokes with the initial clearance. Now it's Ian Bogey. Talbot.
See, that's where they have the spare man. Both Talbot and Bogey are able to pass around Horn there in midfield.
Good competitive play though by Barry Horn. 5 minutes of the first half remaining. Steve Bruce hoisting it forward. There's no one in a blue shirt though to benefit from it. Glover's clearance. The foul by Bruce. He went into the back of his opponent. Bogey. Naylor and Talbot ahead of him. To his right here is McCarthy. Aimed towards Naylor. Steve Guppy. Teasing Brown. But he refused to be outfoxed then, Kenny Brown. He's a tough little performer. Guppy with the corner kick. Glover on his way up now. Andy Hill is in there too. Stretching Hill, but he can't make contact. Limpar. Newell with the chip. Here's Aspin. 8 years now with Vale, Neil Aspin. And he has given terrific service since his move from Leeds. Glover picking out McCarthy. Granger in quickly. Now it's Andy Hill. To Bogey. Birmingham unable to impose themselves at the moment. Another compact performance away from home by Port Vale. He has only this small squad to operate from, John Raj. He's done a magnificent job. No question about that. He signed a player this week, the first one for 18 months. Imagine that, Ron.
Really?
You'd be suffering withdrawal symptoms over that. 18 hours, and you're worried. He signed a Cordes, a Dutchman. But he hasn't made the 14 today. 75 grand. Peanuts. Port Vale throw. And he's managed on a shoestring for so many years, John Raj, but he loves it at Vale Park. And it will take an extraordinary offer, I think, to see him move on from there. He was linked, of course, with the Albion job recently. But then who wasn't? Brown with the throw. And Newell attached to be the offender there.
It's pity really, the last few minutes have just gone a bit scrappy. I mean, the game was a nice pattern game, both sides playing decent football with plenty of things happening, but the last few minutes have gone a bit bitty and scrappy.
We're inside the last couple of minutes now of the first 45. And that is good scrapping by Ian Bogey, who's being held off. Bit of frustration shown there from Birmingham. They began with gusto, but it's fallen away a bit now. They haven't been able to maintain the momentum given them by the early goal from Devlin.
No, I think what happens in football, goals change things. I mean, obviously they got the equalizer back. And since then, I think it's the midfield of Vale have controlled most of the game.
Chris Holland. O'Connor. There'll be a corner. Forced by the endeavours of Kenny Brown. The last minute of the first half. Limpar has gone across to take the kick. Bruce advancing. Granger's in there as well. Ablett has stayed back. Newell looking to attack from the back of the penalty box. It's Bruce. Good control. It was unlucky there, Bruce. But the danger hasn't passed. Limpar to curl it back over again. And Musselwhite having to tip it away for the corner. Lovely control from Bruce.
Yeah, I think he surprised everybody there. I think they all thought he was going to go in on the header, took it down on his chest and then just flipped it with the outside of his right foot. I wouldn't think it would have been actually going in when John McCarthy wasn't cleared it. But a good way for them to finish the half.
Chris Holland will take this corner kick. Again, Bruce will be a target. Aspin got his head to the ball first, though. Horn. We're down to stoppage time. Free kick to Birmingham. It's a rugged challenge of Talbot. And he will be cautioned for that. But he's been the extra man in midfield, and that's been important for Vale in the first half.
Yeah, I think him and Bogey have had a little bit of space that they've used very, very well.
Yeah, it was late there. It was a dreadful challenge. So a late chance here for Birmingham to restore their lead before half-time. Will it be the left foot of Granger here? Horn hovering as well. Martin Granger, it was deflected, and deflected wide. Well, for a moment there, I thought he had redeemed himself. The man who gave away, with his pass, the first goal for Port Vale. O'Connor, did it come off?
He's actually, no, it wasn't O'Connor. I wasn't sure it was not Devlin or what. He's got a little flick header on it, actually.
Well, there is the half-time whistle. A half at the gap so well then for Birmingham. A very lively start, and they had their early reward. Paul Devlin, who of course faces a 4-match suspension shortly, but he put that well behind him with this terrific run here. Brought down by Glover for the penalty, and he tucked it away in very decisive fashion. But then Granger giving the ball away, and a terrific shot at goal from Andy Porter to make it 1-1. That's how it stayed for the rest of the half. Chances for both teams. And plenty more football to come in this game yet. But at half-time, it's Birmingham City 1, Port Vale 1.
John Rogers, do you think that was a penalty?
Well, from when I was sitting there, it was a bit debatable, but I mean, on the screens, you'll probably tell me a little bit clearer.
Well, I think it's about 50-50, really.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate for us to go behind them, but we come back well and got a good goal for Andy Porter. And now we've frustrated them, and Tony Nailey's had quite a good opportunity in which to get us in winning ways. But it's, we used to see that they can get forward a little bit more quicker, but overall, we've been pretty solid. That was one thing that I wanted us to be today.
Thank you.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
Before you joined these people, you could play the violin, am I right?
Not very well, but I could, yeah.
How do you know he's called Jim?
That's where we saw him, in the gym.
And what does Jim say?
Well, Jim says we're all going home in an ambulance.
I just left Topshop on Monday lunchtime, and I've never been back.
We must shed our earthly possessions. Jim has spoken.
Yeah!
This is the drink which gives them euphoria. This, sadly, is lemon tango.
If your idea of a typical estate car is something that resembles a wardrobe on wheels, take a look at the new Citroen Xandia estate. And if you're wondering what it's like flat out, well, it's got all the capacity I need.
If you save for a pension with Prudential, you'll get 85 Prudential fund managers, 5 Prudential dealers, and 26 Prudential analysts, all dedicated to creating the best possible returns from the safest possible investments. So that when you retire, we hope there's even a little mad money. I'm Peter Davis, head of Prudential. And part of my job is to keep your dreams alive.
Peter Davis, the man from the Pru.
Inca, the new fragrance from Lynx.
C.
17 video channels in all classes.
Hear.
22 channel sound and a phone in every seat.
Feel.
More space.
Experience. Emirates new 777. You won't believe it till you see, hear, feel it.
It's a lemon tango moment.
No, it isn't, mate.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
Welcome back, 1-1 at St Andrews. First question, obviously, was that a penalty?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to judge it, but on replay, it looked like the referee made a good decision. He's taken the ball, but he's also taken the man. He's not really cleared the ball. Great acceleration by Devlin, gets in front of him, cuts across in the box. I felt he got a little bit of the ball, but he's taken an awful lot of the man there.
He got the leg first, didn't he?
That's right, it's a slippery breach. They're both perhaps losing their balance there. Devlin's done brilliantly to cut across him. See there, I just think he gets a touch of the ball, but then brings the man down, and the ball's still in front of him. I think if he'd have cleared the ball completely, then there might have been more of a case to argue against.
You could say it was a bit harsh on Dean Glover, but if he did get the leg first, it's a penalty, isn't it?
That's right. I think in that situation, the refs made a good decision.
What did you make of the booking of Anders Limpar for diving, which we don't see very often, do we? Not often enough, in my view.
That's right. I mean, the refs have got the power if they think the player's dived. Anders has played a 1-2, looking to get back again. He's not going to get it.
Nowhere near it, is he?
And he's gone over. But the reaction of the Port Vale players, I think, got Anders booked, which I didn't like to see. They obviously felt he was trying to con the ref into given a penalty, but the ref was on the ball and he knew what was going on, but he's booked him.
Now, Port Vale have looked the better side for much of that first half, but what an equaliser.
That's right.
I'm afraid we're going to have to blame a defender here, aren't we?
Yeah, they had a great little spell. I mean, Birmingham started well, but Port Vale came back into it. The ball's come over, Anders Limpar's great little touchdown. Granger's had a touch, but not cleared it, and there's only one thing on Andy Porter's mind. Feel a bit sorry for Ian Bennett. It's great touch on the ball, but not enough to deflect it wide. It's a good strike, got his head down, and that's a clean strike into the corner.
I think, to be fair to Granger, though, the fullback, he didn't have a lot of room and time to clear the ball when Limpar set it up for it.
Well, I think initially when the ball did come over, I was thinking Anders Limpar's just going to hook it wide. But obviously he's a talented player, he felt he could bring it down. Granger's got it under his feet and couldn't get it away.
And it should have been 2-1 to Port Vale, shouldn't it? I mean, how do you excuse Tony Naylor this miss?
They had a tremendous spell. You know, they started slowly, but once they got underway, this is a good tackle by McCarthy. It's a 50-50, good tackle. Breaks to Naylor, he slips it through Steve Bruce's legs, but he never looks comfortable, does he? He never looks under control. Never.
Good save, but
the keeper does well. He comes out, but he never looked like scoring. After, it was always running away from him. He couldn't get it under control, and I never, there's never a stage where I thought he's going to score here.
I remember Brian Clough used to say they're the hardest goals of the lot. The ones when you're in the clear and you're one-on-one with the keeper. They look easy.
They do, but
nowhere to hide.
You've got to make your mind up quickly. But what he didn't do, he didn't steady himself. He didn't get himself under control and give him a chance to make a decision whether to chip it or go around the keeper. And the ball ran away from him, and Ian Bennett just wrapped it up.
OK, well, Trevor Francis was one Birmingham hero from the 70s who came home. Here's Gary Newbon with another.
Yes, it's Bob Latchford. Actually, I could say that they could do with you and Francis Day, but they've got to get the ball to you both.
Yeah, they would do. Unfortunately, we started off quite well. Got the early goal, but then we gave away a very soft goal to them. Their first shot, I believe it was, and ended the initiative to them.
Actually, that equaliser seemed to knock the stuffing out of Birmingham.
Yes, it set us back. We really never got hold of the ball since then, and we haven't really dominated the game at all since that goal.
Can I ask you, why have you given them a good job with the bookmakers to come back into football?
Oh, when football's in your blood, it was a great opportunity to get back into the game, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Good to see you, Bob.
Thank you, Gary, yeah.
And if Birmingham could have half the side they had in those days, they're going to get promotion. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go too far away.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
The Talladega Challenge, Alabama. Flat out for 25,000 miles, 140 miles per hour, for 8 days and nights. Nothing got broken, except 40 international long-distance records. The Saab 900, from 15,500 pounds on the road. Saab, beyond the conventional.
Barclays Additions, the new current account that gives you more. Free phone 0800 00 10 11.
Look out for the free 20-page Grand Prix guide and play Fantasy Formula One, only in tomorrow's 10p Times.
Our
Baby magazine shows Persil non-bio powder for gentleness on baby skin. Fragrance, value and cleaning performance to win its Best Buy award.
Oh, I could murder a gherkin. Oh. Clear Blue, the pregnancy test that gives you a clear yes or no in 1 minute.
The eggs hatch. At once, the first instinct of the young is to cry out for food.
You can say that again.
And while the female devotes herself to caring for her brood, the male, the provider, goes out to forage. Then, inevitably, the moment comes when the young are ready to spread their wings and leave the nest. And now, the nest is empty.
Oh, that was pure skill.
Hello, exactly the same.
Nice to see you. Hi, Mum. How you doing?
How you doing there, big brother?
What skill? What control?
Pull it, pull it, pull it.
Come on, guys. Give me a break.
It's him. Pull it. What's the matter? Too good for you?
Well, M&M's, I must admit, you got a lot of class. I love your team colors, and that 1-2 between peanut and chocolate. Fantastic.
So what's wrong?
Yeah, what's wrong? It's those stupid wigs.
Wigs? What wigs?
Oh, you spotted them then.
God, he's rude.
It's pronounced rod, isn't it?
Last Saturday was the worst day of my life. Okay, so I won over £1 million in the pools. And I suppose for some people it would have been a cause for celebration, or something like that. But I'll tell you what, the sloppy defending that led to the equalizer completely took the shine off it for me. No one tracked back, men were left unmarked, shot.
Littlewood's Pools. Get a result.
Many people who are short-sighted, long-sighted, or have astigmatism now have a clear alternative to glasses and contact lenses. Laser vision. Specialists in laser eye correction have centres throughout the UK performing this simple outpatient procedure. To find out more, call Laser Vision now.
Police are closing in on road tax evaders. They face a fine of up to £1,000 in the back tax. There's no getting away from it.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
Hello there, the half-time news is that Anders Limpar is off and Forster, £700,000 from Brentford, is coming on for Birmingham in the second half. If Steve Bruce thinks he's going to get off lightly, he's wrong, because he should have scored too, shouldn't he?
Well, they had a couple of half chances, and this one fell to Steve Bruce. Gets away from Aspin, chests it down, but he just runs away from him. But
left foot.
Dean Glover does brilliantly there. He leaves his position to come across, but it was always getting away from him. I have to say that was a half chance, and if he had a left foot, perhaps he would have done better.
Well, Ron said if Birmingham don't win this, they can forget about promotion. Let's go over to Ron and Peter Brackley for the second half now.
And just to confirm, indeed, Nicky Forster, who was signed from Brentford for £700,000 a few weeks ago, is coming on for the second half. He hasn't started a game yet. He's made 3 substitute appearances. He's on for Anders Limpar. Let's hear Trevor Francis's thoughts. He's talking now with Gary.
Trevor, not stopping out you a bit, that equaliser. So what have you been telling your troops at half-time?
Well, we had the ascent of a great start with a penalty, and then, of course, you know, a mistake by Anders Limpar, but it's a tremendous finish. It set us back, and, you know, we've reorganised. Disappointed we had to bring Limpar off. I thought he was quality in that first 45 minutes. He's damaged his groin, so we've had to rearrange. We're going to put Devlin in the wide area, and Nicky Forster will go up front with Mike Newell.
OK, thank you.
Pleasure.
So there we are, Nicky Forster is on. He's a very sharp and pacey striker. An England under-21 international. And I think Trevor Francis sees a bit of himself in young Forster. Have you seen much of him, Ron?
Yeah, I've seen a fair amount of him, both at Brentford, and I saw him play here the other week. He's bright, he's lively. He's got to come to the pace of the higher tempo of the higher league, but I think it's a disappointment. I know Devlin can switch and play on the flank, and I've seen him play out there an awful lot. But I think when you play Devlin as a loose cannon and let him go where he likes, I think that's when he's at his most effective.
So Forster has his chance then in this second half. Devlin will switch to a wider role. He himself prefers to play down the centre. As I was saying before half-time, he won't be playing anywhere for 4 matches. He has his suspension coming up. after his setting off against Wrexham, and it was a pretty dreadful tackle in truth, as Trevor Francis acknowledged afterwards, having seen the replay. Here's bogey then for Port Vale, who gave a very disciplined display in the first half, and certainly had a golden chance to have gone in front through Tony Naylor. This is Hill. Too long for Talbot. Horn for Birmingham, linking with Newell, and now Martin O'Connor, who provides the drive in midfield. That's Newell. Offside. Belatedly, the flag was raised.
I think he made a run for his own back here, the linesman, because he was offside. The linesman put his flag up and then down and then up again.
So he wasn't undecided anyway, then.
It was like the yes-no interlude.
Talbot chasing. He's had this problem with shin splints. But John Rodge, down on the bench now, feels that he does add that extra ingredient when he plays in midfield, when they do play the three in the centre away from home. He has served them such good effect so far. And again today.
Yeah, well, they've been very effective in midfield. They've alternated. Any one of the three has taken his opportunity to run forward. I think in many ways Bogey's been the controlling player. Sometimes Porter anchors, and then sometimes Porter runs on.
Hooked on by Forster, but straight to Aspin. They very nearly lost out. Porter to Hill. Now Glover. And the back pass was almost a little short then to Musselwhite, but he seemed totally unruffled. On. Now Gary Ablett. Very much a first choice, Gary Ablett, and he was playing some superb football earlier in the season, some of the best of his career in the view of Trevor Francis, and of course Gary Breen has now moved on to Coventry. We'll ask Ron how he's settling down in a moment. Newell, it goes Devlin, hooked away by Stokes under some pressure. Devlin making a nuisance of himself.
Yeah, I think that's what he must do. If he's going to play out on the wing, Devlin, he's got to have the license to run in, let Newell show for the high balls, and let Forster and Devlin just chase everything into the box.
Holland with the kick. Bruce looking at the back of the box along with Newell and Granger. Didn't reach Newell. It goes O'Connor, then Horn, dispossessed though by Tony Naylor, and then Talbot failing to hold it up. So here is Gary Ablett. What about Breen then, Ron? How's he settling in?
Apparently he's done very, very well. Personally, I haven't seen him play, but apparently he's played very, very well. Sometimes he gets, according to the lads, that they have the heart in the mouth a little bit because he takes chances, but he's a footballing type centre-half.
Not by Talbot. And from Birmingham's point of view, the money they got for him, of course, well, that was good value for them.
I would have thought so, yeah. Although every time I come to St Andrews, they accuse us of robbing them.
Well, you played them in the League Cup, didn't you?
That's right.
And one here. Granger taking the throw. This is Holland trying to find some room. Andy Hill standing on no ceremony there as he whacked it into the stands. Well, this very miserable afternoon at St Andrews. It's still pouring with rain, a little lighter than earlier, but very wet nonetheless. The spirits of Birmingham fans were lifted early on by the goal from Devlin, but all credit to Port Vale for the way they responded. The equalizer from Andy Porter. Granger, whose operation led to that goal. Guppy. Careless with his distribution. Granger can't link up with O'Connor. Rather untidy. A Horn for throw to Port Vale.
do feel that Birmingham need to pen Port Vale back a bit and get the crowd lifted and try and build up some momentum, trying to get ahead of steam, try and get plenty of balls into the Port Vale penalty box, and in other words, make things happen, not allow Port Vale to settle down into their, what I call a very nice pattern of football.
Newell will challenge for this one with Dean Glover. Now McCarthy. Operating down the left side with McCarthy over on the right at the moment. Devlin. Porter and Bogey between them, sorting out the problem. But now it's Ablett. With a chance to advance. Forster controlled it superbly. Just took it too far. But he showed his pace there. Vale appealing for offside, but appealing in vain.
I think they may also have been appealing for a handball, but he certainly looked offside. The diagonal ball, see the flank players. I wondered at one stage whether McCarthy had come over this side to maybe take a little extra care of Devlin, but no, they've switched back. The two flank players have switched back to Port Vale.
O'Connor. Good anticipation by Glover, who was caught then by Forster. And that was going to be a caution.
It's an unnecessary decision, that really. I think Port Vale would probably have preferred the play to have continued because Guppy had got good possession. I mean, the referee could well have gone and booked Forster later. And I actually don't think it was worth a booking. I think the lad's unlucky there to get booked.
Yes, it didn't look that sinister, did it? Here's Steve Guppy. Another dangerous ball played in. And Granger having to concede the corner. Guppy trotting across to take this kick. There's confirmation of the yellow card for Forster, who's certainly been a prolific scorer from his Brentford days. 26, I remember, a couple of seasons back. In the meantime, Birmingham are on the defensive now. Guppy swinging it over. Glover! Superb header, angled into the corner. Dean Glover.
I tell you why he'll be pleased. I'll tell you what he'll like. He'll like the goal, obviously. He'll like the movement beforehand. There's about 3 little spin runs before Glover eventually got that space. All right, the ball's on its way there, and he's arrived. He's just got in front. It may even have caught. I'm not quite sure. It caught Naylor on the back, but there's great movement just before that to get that.
It's a brave and accurate header from Dean Glover, and Port Vale are in front. Glover, who scored, remember, in that 4-4. That dramatic match with Queen's Park Rangers. He's on the score sheet again today for only the second time this season. Newell for Birmingham. They have lost, remember, the last 3 matches here in League and Cup. Birmingham. 4 games in succession, including the away one. How will this affect their confidence, I wonder? Chris Holler.
I think a big thing as well, of course, is the fans have always been very good here. They've always been very supportive of the team. I think it's important they support them now, that they stick with them now. If the fans went against them, you could see a few players' heads drop.
Devlin seeking out Newell. Aspit's header straight to Holland. Urgent defending though by Port Vale. Again showing their resilience away from home. Also their prowess in front of goal. Porter. Guppy's corner. And Glover getting in ahead of Granger there.
Yeah, I actually don't think Guppy might. I think Guppy might have mishit that a little bit. But I mean, the movement. Oh, here we go.
O'Connor! Didn't really get a clean strike at goal.
There was a little bit of slowness on the ball. He needed it to zip through to it a bit here, O'Connor.
Forster involved in the build-up.
Yeah, he could have just done with knocking it out of his feet a little bit.
Stokes closing O'Connor down. Aspin lumping it forward. Ablett wanting the keeper to fetch. One or two Birmingham heads down at the moment. They need lifting again. So do the crowd. Not those who follow Port Vale, though. They're in great voice at the moment, understandably so. Once again, their team have come up trumps on their travels. Forster. Guppy deceiving him, then Aspin's pass. Bruce settling for the throw. And no wonder there's concern on the face of Trevor Francis. His team, having gone in front, are now behind. The tackle by Talbot on Horn. Porter, Talbot again. He's having a good match. Naylor offside.
Yeah, they've got a nice way of playing. They ease the ball out to both either the wide players. They've got three midfield players that are all very comfortable with the ball. They can tuck the ball back in field too.
Devlin. Stokes with a header away. Dean Stokes, who hails from this area. Certainly you feel Port Vale have a grip in midfield.
Yeah, they've got an extra player in there, and they've got players, particularly the wide players, who've got a good knowledge of how to operate that role.
Good bustling play then by Tony Naylor. There's only Talbot upfield. Newell is the target for Ablett. The clash between Glover and Newell. Tempo's raised. Newell certainly caught it. But the referee quick to step in and calm things down. And he barged into him, Newell. No argument about that. Devlin. Newell with the angled run, but he's offside. Certainly no lack of effort or commitment from Mike Newell on his return to the Birmingham team.
He's led the line fairly well. What he has suffered for, apart from the one left-footed strike when he hit it over the bar, is he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. I certainly think Birmingham have lost something by taking Devlin out of the central areas. And he was always a thorn. He was always busy. He was always causing problems. Now playing in this orthodox position, which he can do quite well, he's not involved in the game half as much.
Yes, he needs to be at the sharp end. That's Glover. Forward by Granger. Nothing though that Forster can do with that. Safely through to Paul Musselwhite.
See, looking at the big picture now, we're panning in on Devlin. He's basically 10 yards away from his own right back. You really want Devlin, I think, about a yard away from their last defender.
Glover stepping in front of Newell. Now it's Guppy.
That's one area Newell's disappointed me in a little bit. He hasn't won half as many of the, if you like, the sharing balls in the air as he should have done. Glover's got a big percentage of those.
Talbot. Good forceful run here. Naylor is in the middle and McCarthy over on the far side. No room for error there from Ablett, who was very composed. Then Brown caught in possession. Just can't get a rhythm going at the moment, Birmingham. And that's a foul on Porter by Newell.
They're finding it very, very difficult to deal with Talbot, you know. Sometimes you look at him and you think, well, he's playing as an out-and-out centre forward. Then he drops back into his orthodox midfield plan, and he's doing it very, very intelligently, flitting between the front line and the midfield.
And remember, he has only just come back from injury.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I thought, looking at the team lineup, I thought if John Rogers was going to make a change in the course of the game, he might be the one to come out. through the game, you know, with his lack of match play, but certainly at the moment he's showing no signs of it.
Holland defending against McCarthy. Yes, he certainly has got forward in support very often, Talbot. John Rudge was saying beforehand, who says we're only going to play one up? Well, I suppose what he meant was we'll get Talbot forward as often as we can.
Yeah, but he also plays with the two wide players get forward as well. It's a little bit forced. I think it's a great system, this. I like this way of playing, actually.
He thinks he's being accused of being negative, and it isn't that at all.
No, it's not negative at all. It's a very sensible way of playing, but you need your wide players to have a good appreciation of how to play the game. If they just sit deep without getting forward, then it is a negative way.
He's a wily old fox.
Smashing. Been absolutely brilliant for Port Vale.
He'll be playing that bit over and over on his tape machine tomorrow. Did you hear what Big Ron said about me? Porter making the run now. I think it's just gone too far. But he is one of the great characters, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I mean, you mentioned earlier you signed that Dutch boy for 75,000. He's not played a game for them. I bet if you went and spoke to Rudgy after the game and said, would you sell that Dutch player? He'd be talking $750,000, you know.
Yeah, he's made a few handy deals down the years. It's a frustrating afternoon for Mike Newell. He certainly had a frustrating time at West Ham. Hoping he might have been taken on there after his loan spell, but of course they signed Kitson and Hartson, so he was out of the picture. But now with this opportunity to rebuild his career with Birmingham. That was painful for Andy Porter. Brown.
See, that's where those wide players at Port Vale have come in well. I'm trying to recall Granger or Brown really getting forward and really producing much in terms of crosses or anything. Certainly, I don't think you're going to. I think it's probably been one in the course of the game.
Just haven't managed to get up ahead of steam, Birmingham. Certainly not in this half so far.
I think that's because both McCarthy and Guffey have blocked off their avenues.
This is Brown taking the throw. Devlin and Forster ahead of him, and Holland beyond them. That was Dean Stokes. Now Guppy. Naylor beaten in the air by Bruce. It's on the ground, he might be more vulnerable against the pace of Naylor. Good interception though by Bruce. Releasing Holland. Alert defending there by Dean Stokes, who hopes he will have done enough today to retain his place in the team. He's certainly had a fight on with Alan Tackar, the first choice for so long. Forster to Brown. This is Horn. Good closing down by Bogey. They just haven't let Birmingham settle. O'Connor. Mule to his left. Still O'Connor. Can't get through. They have defended very well, Port Vale. That's Gary Ablett. And they defend from the front row.
Yeah, I mean, once it breaks down, once Naylor does, if he doesn't get a grip of the ball, Naylor, then all of a sudden the Birmingham back players are looking at a whole mass of white shirts in front of them.
Ablett. I think he'd seen Naylor.
I'm not sure of it. If he had, it was a very, very risky header, because I thought Naylor was anticipating the one.
Bogey confronted eagerly then by O'Connor. Now Bruce. Hefty clearance by Bennett. Newell. It goes Forster.
And somehow or other, Trevor's got to get his side forward in wide areas, and looking at the players available. The only way he can do that is for his fullbacks to start gambling. They know they've got a real problem because they're facing two of Vale's best players, but somehow or other they've got to try and seize the initiative from them. It's no good delivering the ball all the while from there. They've got to be 30, 40 yards higher up the park. And this is where Brown should be racing. So he's having it in front of the defence. I think Brown should have been sprinting on there.
This is Forster. Devlin seems to have gone back into the middle now. Here is Devlin. He was unlucky then. But that is where he is at his most effective. It's a disappointing afternoon so far for Trevor Francis. After such an encouraging start.
Got a good leg round him. He's just a bit unlucky, Devlin, that he can't keep control of the ball.
Bruce leading the throw for Kenny Brown. On by Forster. Stokes in the way. Now it's Talbot. Harassed out of it though by Horn. Such a tenacious player, Barry Horn. Here's his former Everton teammate, Gary Ablett. Now Newell, another former Everton man. Holland, and that was an intelligent pass, but well spotted by Aspin. Good covering.
But that was better from Granger. At least he seized the initiative and went on, made runs off the ball.
Yes, they haven't really stretched them down the flanks, have they? See what Holland can do here. It's too long for Forster. No problem for Paul Musselwhite, who's keeping out Ariane Van Hoesten, another Dutchman these days. Van Hoesten was first choice at the start of the campaign, but he's very much a fixture now, Musselwhite. Although I know John Rudge feels there's not much between the two. Glover. Offside, Devlin. Close, but it's the right decision. Just a bit too quick off the mark then, Devlin.
Yeah, I think Glover, as this ball flick, Glover steps up on Devlin just in time.
Yes, that's good defending by Glover. Cleared by Bruce. Guppy to Bogey. Hill setting off down that right side. Here's Hill now. Granger tracking back to cover the run from McCarthy. And the decision going Birmingham's way. But the match isn't. Thanks to that second goal from Glover. Porter with the equalizer in the first half after Devlin had steered Birmingham in front from the penalty spot. Horn's back pass. Rare goal then for Glover, as I was saying, only his second of the season to enter that one in the Rangers match. Did you see that 4-4 draw, Ron?
No, I didn't actually, no.
You were away in Thailand or Braceletland or somewhere,
Somewhere like that, yeah.
It was a cracking game. I don't think we're going to see 8 goals here today, but it's been fairly entertaining nonetheless. But Birmingham finding it very hard now to claw their way back into it. Glover to Porter. The idea was there. He does a good solid job, doesn't he, Porter?
Oh, yeah, he's one of those that's been with Rudgy for years. Knows exactly what he wants, and I would think week in and week out gives a 7 out of 10 performance.
Granger to Chris Holland. They need a spark of imagination, invention now, Birmingham. Again, it's not forthcoming.
See, at least when they had Limpar on that side of the field, they did have an outlet ball.
It's a bit predictable, isn't it? Steve Bruce. No one will be trying harder than him to revive his team's prospects. McCarthy back defending, but now turning defence to attack. Guppy steaming down this near side here. McCarthy looking for him and for Talbot. This is Guppy. Naylor in the middle. A rather wasted opportunity. Too easy that for Ablett. Holland. Hoping to get something started. Looking for the acceleration here of Forster. He pulled it back well. Holland steadied himself. This is Mike Newell. Good block by Musselwhite. Came out then in such determined fashion to close him down.
Tell you what, there's a fan on the field. There's a loon on the field. An absolute loon, the steward.
Oh, they're getting a terrible reception, and rightly so, from the crowd. One of the idiots, I'm pleased to say, has fallen over. Let's hope it's nothing too trivial.
And I think we should hark back to an excellent piece of goalkeeping by Musselwhite, because Blues here have had their best opportunity there. Forster cuts it back, outstretched leg. Now, instead of shooting, he's picked Mule out. Mule straightens himself out, but even as he's receiving it, Musselwhite's on his way.
So the two fans who ran on their way out of the ground.
I mean, perhaps I'm out of order there, but I wouldn't mind seeing them put away for the next 20 years. Key thrown away.
They're given a commentary season ticket at the very least, Ron.
Oh, really?
Steve Bruce.
You'll be one of those coming around for cup final tickets in a month or two's time.
You're on a roll at the moment. So is Devlin here for Birmingham. Faced by this packed Port Vale defence, though. Chipped in by Brown. Newell.
There's an excellent ball by Kenny Brown there. Clever ball into a dangerous area.
Well, they seem to be finding a second wind at the moment, Birmingham. Still trailing by 2 goals to 1. Newell won't reach this one. That was Glover's header. O'Connor happy enough with the corner. Plenty of time left for Birmingham to turn it round. Disappointing cross though from Brown.
Yeah, it's one of the few occasions he's been in the last third of the field. And he's been reared in the West Ham, Norwich, that sort of club that produces crosses, and that's a very, very poor one from him.
Well, Trevor Francis has called on the fans to be patient. He says, look, I'm rebuilding the team. It's going to take time, and all managers need that time. But certainly the fans here today will be frustrated by their team's failure to dominate, having got off to such a good start. But nothing can be taken away from Port Vale's contribution. Stokes has a problem, down injured. Can Birmingham exploit that here? This is Brown. They've got 3 in the middle. More arriving too. Horn. Chopped off the head of Devlin. Stokes is still down injured. Again going on around him. Bruce with the chip. And then Guppy out of play, and now Stokes can receive some attention. I think the referee was right to let that go on, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, the problem he's got is Birmingham were in a very promising situation. I mean, okay, it's a challenge in the air.
It's a head injury.
Yeah. Now he feeds Brown in, and this is arguably the first time, we're not going to see, but that was one of the first times that Brown has been anywhere near the dead ball line. And I think the referee did have a major problem then, because Birmingham were in one of their best positions in this half of the game.
And there is always that extra worry, isn't there, when it's a facial injury. He certainly took an arm in the face there. Dean Stokes. He's had a good game at left back today. Waiting for this opportunity. And he has seized it with both hands. So Ray Walker is going to come on for Port Vale now.
Well, as I said before, I just wondered whether they were going to go the distance with Talbot, who's missed games. Ray Walker's, it would be a 1-for-1 swap, but Talbot certainly has played well enough. I mean, he's had a smashing game.
Forster. Away from Stokes. And from Guppy too. Did well then to hold on, Musselwhite.
You know, they've actually looked better, Birmingham, since Forster started working the flanks and got Devlin back up alongside Newell.
Oh, you made the point earlier about Devlin being at his best, his most dangerous down the middle. And also getting some service down the flanks now.
Forster's making things happen. He's operated on both flanks and produced dangerous balls into the box there.
John Rudge wants to introduce Ray Walker, but he can't do so for the moment. Bruce for Birmingham. Forster, who certainly has operated down the flanks in the past for Brentford, although I think he prefers a more central role. He's looked very quick. This is Devlin. A shot cup cross, but failed to trouble this well-organised Port Vale defence. Newell. I think Talbot is going to be sacrificed in a moment. But it certainly isn't down to the way that he's been playing. And he has had these 6 weeks out.
Yeah, I mean, that's sensible play, because actually he would have been one of the candidates. He's been one of the best players, I'll tell you that now. For me, he's been one of the best players on the field, Talbot. But obviously John Rudge knows his limitations, knows that the boy is very, very short on fitness, although it's not apparent. He is incidentally bringing in one of his best ever players, who at times looks as if he should have played at a much, much higher level, with all due respect.
So Ray Walker coming on to replace Stuart Talbot. Another marvellous servant down the years to Port Vale. He's 33 now, Walker. An excellent footballer. Bruce. Devlin calling through the middle. Newell is there too. Newell with a little flick on. Devlin had already been upended. Minutes of the match remaining. Newell. Granger. Granger underneath this one, but McCarthy was first to it. Away by Ablett. Steve Bruce finding Newell. But there was Porter biting in with the tackle. Still Birmingham advancing through Newell. Held it up well. Devlin. I think he's won back a few friends today, Mike Newell, with his all-round contribution. And how he would love to seal it with a goal. Brown. Where did that come off? It's a corner. That'll be the signal for Steve Bruce to go up. Holland with the kick. Bruce to attack it. Off the post. Very unlucky then. O'Connor. Brown. And then Holland. Oh, Stokes dived in then. I think if Holland had gone down...
Well, you'd have bet your life on a penalty, wouldn't you?
He certainly, to my mind, went in recklessly then, Dean Stokes, and was lucky to get away with that.
There's the first corner where Bruce gets on the big header, which he looks as if he's being punished for. I think it has to be said, probably Guppy would have saved it if it had gone inside the post.
He's attacked it in such positive fashion there, Steve Bruce. Well, he's back on his feet now.
Yeah, he took a bang on the header as he went in.
Such an inspirational figure. As Stuart Francis always says, there's no real price on this man's leadership qualities. Birmingham need them now. The game still drifting beyond them. Inside the last 10 minutes, Gary Ablett to Bruce. Guppy. This is Naylor. Port Vale sweeping forward on the counter-attack. McCarthy. Granger letting it run out. And Birmingham will make another switch here. And throw on Paul Furlong. And Johnson's coming on as well. Granger, one of those to be sacrificed along with Barry Horn. So he's got a gamble now, Trevor Francis, and he's sending on an extra striker. Straight swap at left back. Johnson for Granger. Paul Furlong, who has been a regular in the team this season, the record signing, of course, from Chelsea, 1.5 million. Losing out to Mike Newell today. Aspin's header. You can give some thought to your Man of the Match award, Ron. We'll ask you that in a moment. Now Martin Foyle is going to come on for Port Vale.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, because what they need now is somebody that can hold the ball up, and this fella can do that brilliantly. Naylor's a running player who's done exceptionally well on his own. Foyle's the type of player now that will hold the ball up for them.
And such a proven goal scorer too. In the last 5 seasons he's come out on top in each campaign, but he's certainly played second fiddle to Naylor this time. Furlong's first contribution comes to nothing.
I also think Birmingham have absolutely signalled their intent for the last 8 minutes or so. They've got to just, if you like, lump the ball forward. I don't think they're going to play their way in. I'd be very surprised if they played their way in with the lineup they've got.
Newell. Devlin had made a run to open up some space for him. But again, they just soak up the pressure, Port Vale, and look for the counter thrust themselves. With 8 minutes to go. Free kick for the foul on Martin Foyle. Former Oxford man. Just the 4 goals this season, but then he hasn't started all that many. Hill looking for Foyle. Well, he's not had too many saves to make today, Ian Bennett, but he was certainly beaten by that terrific shot in the first half from Porter. And again by Glover's header. Here's Foyle.
Yeah, I think both goalkeepers, the best moments they've had have been when they've had to make one-on-one blocks. Bennett from the save he made from Naylor, and of course at the other end when Newell was lining up for one.
O'Connor's pass, picking out Devlin.
It's got to go in from here. It's got to go in from here.
Johnson whipping over the cross. Newell can't get it before Musselwhite. Very composed goalkeeping, commanding his area then, Paul Musselwhite.
But they've no alternative now, Birmingham, with the lineup they've got. They've got to miss out on midfield. They can't really be looking to play through midfield. They've got to get it forward and into the box on every opportunity.
Johnson seemed to be clambering all over McCarthy.
They've now got 4 recognised strikers on the field.
And 6 minutes to find an equaliser. That's Brown, offside though against Devlin. Wheels away in frustration.
I mean, it's a bit predictable now the way they've got to play Birmingham, but they've no alternative.
They've certainly got to take a risk or two now.
What I do think Foyle will do, I think he'll suit Brucey better. I think Steve Bruce would be happier playing against Foyle, who's perhaps not quite as quick as Naylor.
No chance of getting to that one, Martin Foyle. Bennett getting plenty of distance on his clearance. But it's headed away by Glover, who's given a masterly display in the main at the back alongside Aspin. Just got caught out on the run by Devlin in the first half that led to the penalty, but otherwise he's not pretty sure about that. 5 minutes left. Bruce for Birmingham. Now O'Connor. Can his team save this game? Otherwise, it's 5 defeats in a row. It all seemed to be going so well for Birmingham earlier in their campaign. Remember, he was manager of the month back in November, Trevor Francis. This is Guppy now. Great ball towards McCarthy.
Well, that's tremendous defending there, because McCarthy was pounding in at the far post from Guppy's cross.
Yes, Michael Johnson did well then.
They're a good pair, these two, you know, these two wide players. They do the job to perfection. They work up and down, they attack when they have to, and then fill in those little defensive holes when necessary.
No wonder John Rogers so anxious to hold on to their services. Bogey. It goes Glover. Well, he's more concerned about defending at the moment, but that was certainly worth a try.
I wish he had scored then, because this is the hardest decision for a man of the match I can make, because I think every Port Vale player's played equally well.
Well, you have to make up your mind soon. The game's nearly over.
I know. It will have to be Glover, because he's atoned for that early mistake. He's got himself what would at this moment in time look to be the winning goal. But I think that's representative for all of them. They've all played their part, Port Vale. It's been a team effort. I mean, we don't mention Aspin, and yet I haven't seen him put anything wrong. I haven't seen him make a mistake all match.
So Dean Glover is the man of the match. He's looking more and more as if his goal is going to decide the game. But that was Furlong. Now then for Devlin. Maybe Birmingham aren't finished yet. Furlong! Great stop! Forster! And again from Musselwhite. I think you might have to rethink your man of the match, Ron.
I will tell you what, if he'd have done that a minute earlier, there's no doubt there are two magnificent saves. I mean, the first save's an excellent save. I mean, he's got a clear sighting of goal. That's a great save. This is an even better one for me. That is a tremendous double save.
He has preserved his team's advantage in the most spectacular fashion. Paul Musselwhite. Here's Holland with the corner. Newell. Now Devlin. Birmingham pounding away at the Port Vale goal, but they just can't find an opening. And the free kick, he went to the away side, who are so indebted to Musselwhite.
Yes, well, I said it was a team event right the way through the side. All of a sudden, the goalkeeper's played his part after a relatively quiet game. He won't make two better saves than that all season.
Superb reflex saves from Paul Musselwhite. The shot certainly from Furlong was hit with such power, and then the follow-up from Forster denied his first Birmingham goal. It's a foul by Stokes.
Yeah, it's a booking as well. Got to be a booking. He's just blocked up Forster there.
Mistimed tackle.
No,
it's Stokes.
He's just stood in his way. It's a block off there.
Bruce with this free kick. Looking for the height of Furlong and co. No problem though for Aspin. We're into the last minute. The Port Vale goal remaining under siege. Can they hold out here? Steve Bruce. Forster. Well, they're just throwing bodies in the way now. That was Dean Stokes.
You know, the incredible thing is, whether it's the bang on the head, but for the last two set plays, Bruce hasn't come forward. I would have thought at this stage of the game he'd have been playing virtually centre forward.
He's on his way up now. Forster. That's Brown. Oh dear. Rather sums up Birmingham's afternoon. Well, they've begun this game only one place above the relegation zone. It's not looking too good for them now. A long haul awaiting Trevor Francis and his team from here on. The Port Vale, Ron, promotion prospects?
They'll go close to the playoffs. I don't think they've got quite enough for promotion playoffs.
Still got some defending to do here, maybe. Musselwhite, so much the hero late on with those two stunning stops. David Sullivan, the owner of Birmingham, saying it was like a cup final for his team today. I don't think they're going to go home with the winners' medals. Brown, that's Guppy back defending.
I think you'll see the whole of the brigade in there now. It's got to be a quality ball. We've got enough big guys in there now to get on the end of something.
Holland's kick. Whistle's gone. Free kick to Port Vale. I think it was Furlong who was the culprit.
I always get puzzled by referees sometimes, you know, in those sort of areas. I think to make up their mind, they're going to give a free kick one way or the other when there's contact like that. It would be very hard to differentiate who pushed who.
Away by Ablett to Steve Bruce. Forster. Birmingham still persevering. Forster showing his pace, taking on Stokes. It goes Furlong. Appealing for a penalty, but he's got no sympathy at all. I think rightly so too from the referee.
They've certainly, I think Birmingham would have been far better, and it's been wise after the event if Forster had played on the flank from the minute he came on. He certainly has looked far more effective out here.
Holland's corner. Bruce looking to attack again from the edge of the box. One wide from Johnson. And maybe now, that is Birmingham's last opportunity. Referee Harris has looked at his watch. There can't be too much more stoppage time to be played.
And he's looked very thrustful when he's gone in this wide area. So out of something, Trevor might have gained something. He might just say, well, hang on a bit. We've got somebody that can start in a wide right position.
Certainly there's no question of a penalty. Furlong had dived. There's no contact with him. And Port Vale have taken all 3 points here. Winners by 2-1. Further dismay for Trevor Francis, but what elation for John Ranch, who's plotted Birmingham's downfall. The winning goal from the man of the match, Dean Glover. And this was the header that decided it all. Beyond Bennett into the corner. And some very happy scenes among those Port Vale players. They've had to come from behind after Paul Devlin had steered Birmingham in front from the penalty spot early on. But they couldn't build on that. Andy Porter with a terrific equalizer. And of course, well, late on we had those saves from Musselwhite, which enabled Port Vale to hang on to their lead as Birmingham threw everything at them. To no avail, Port Vale have beaten Birmingham here by 2-1.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
I love the car, Daddy.
We could fit half a house in the back.
Or we could have 3 more children. 3 more children.
The new Toyota Picnic, the family fun vehicle.
What kind of society do you want to be part of? At Britannia, we share our success not with shareholders, but with those who deserve it most. This year, we're sharing £35 million with our members in our first loyalty bonus.
35 million?
And we'll share out a bonus every year. If this is the kind of society you want, then join us. For an information pack, call 0800 44 3322. Britannia, we are the sharing society.
When a headache strikes, Nurofen knows how to release you fast and effectively.
Take me where the morning sunlight sparkles on the sea. We'll hide away on an island where love is all you need. Sun roses for lovers, love is all you need. Fall in love all over, love is all you need. White sands, emerald seas, two can share. Everything's included. Love is all you need.
Sandals, the Caribbean's ultra all-inclusive resorts.
Coming up, 2 great birds' ideas.
Bird's eye crispy chicken dippers. Well, everybody's heard about the word. The bird's eye chicken dippers, the word. I say the bird's eye chicken dippers, the word. Well, don't you know about the word? Chicken dippers, ain't you heard? I say the bird's
Only
eye
chicken worth dipping passes the bird's eye.
These are the only peas with the bird's eye vitamins in peas guarantee. As fresh as the moment when the pod went.
Little Miss Carefree decided to take Mr. Worry away for a few days. Mr. Worry was worried about the driving and the traffic jams. But they didn't have to drive. He was worried about the costs, but their new twosome tickets were such good value. In fact, Mr. Worry didn't have to worry about anything. Well, much. Birmingham to London is only £35 return with the new twosome ticket. Intercity. Think about it.
Motor Nation, the Midlands' nearly new car hypermarket for incredible savings, incredible choice. Look at this. A P-registered Corsa 1.2 LS is just £6,666. Or put down £166 and it's yours for just £156.21 per month. APR 16.6. Only one of hundreds of examples. Why buy new? For choice, for value, get wise. Get Nation.
It's got to be Motor Nation.
At Macadam Lane, Birmingham, near the airport.
The Central Match Live, sponsored by the Car Supermarket.
A very gloomy St Andrews, no surprise really, losing at home 2-1 to Port Vale. Did I say 4-2 Birmingham? How wrong can you be? Anyway, here's Gary Newbon with the Port Vale match winner, Dean Glover.
Congratulations, Dean. Did you head that one cleanly?
Yeah, I just managed to get a flick on it. It was a bit low-like, but Tony Naylor's trying to claim it in the box there.
But although you played very well today, Port Vale, it was down to your goalkeeper at the death to keep you in the game as far as winning is concerned.
That's right, he pulled off some brilliant saves. I say that Noley had a clear goal and Muzzy come out and blocked the first one. And then he's managed to scramble the second one away, so yeah, he's done tremendous.
OK, well, Birmingham obviously got some problems, but you haven't. Here's the Man of the Match award. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you.
And as Roy Atkinson said, maybe the whole team deserved that award, really. Let's just have a look at that goal, shall we, before we analyse the rest of the second half. Dean Glover's winner. Was it a bad corner by Guppy, or was that planned, do you think?
Well, I was just thinking it was a poor corner, but Dean Glover does brilliantly. He gets in front of the defender and flicks it, and it flashes past the keeper. That initial thought was that's it going to be easily cleared away, but
yes,
Glover does brilliantly. He stoops, and that's a very difficult header. But he's just managed to get the right amount of head on it, and it's flashed past the keeper. He's a bit unlucky there.
What do you think of Birmingham? Because that second half, there didn't seem to be any sense of urgency right until the end, did there, from Birmingham?
Well, again, they've had so many defeats. The crowd's flat. I really expected Birmingham to come out flying, you know, lift the tempo and take the game to Port Vale, you know, beginning of the second half. But it was scrappy. You know, Port Vale were very happy just to let it, you know, go like that. And I think Birmingham played right into their hands. They were well organised. You know, they were well balanced and they were comfortable all the time. You didn't really see Birmingham scoring. And when Devlin went right, I thought that made it less of a chance because there went your best potent force.
OK, let's just have a look at Mike Newell's really only major moment in the game. What would you say about this?
That's right, he's done well, pulled it back. Mike Newell's got a great chance, but he never settles himself. Ball runs away from him. His first touch wasn't where he wanted it to be, and he was always struggling for it. The keeper comes out brilliantly, comes out to close him down.
There, doesn't it?
That's right, the keeper comes out so quickly, and I think that puts Newell right off.
All right, let's have a look now. I think it's the Musselwhite double save we're going to have a look at now. All right, we're going to have a look at the Bruce header, first of all, which hit the post. Was well covered.
Good delivery. I mean, Steve
Guppy.
Bruce is always going to be dangerous on set pieces, gets up brilliantly.
Now, see what happens after this.
Great challenge.
Now, look, now if he'd gone down there, he might have got a penalty.
My initial reaction, as I said, if he'd have gone down, it would have been interesting to see what the ref would have done.
OK, well, Dean Glover got the Man of the Match award, but only just because Musselwhite at the end, two better saves you couldn't wish to see, could you?
That's right, it makes it better because he didn't have anything to do at all during the game and had to keep alive. Devlin does superbly well here, controls it. Purfoyland gets a great shot on it, good save. And Forster there just concentrates on getting on target. Didn't get the best of contacts, But again, great reaction save to keep them in the game.
And a well-deserved win. OK, now the biggest First Division crowd in the Midlands yesterday was gathered around an empty pitch. 16,000 at Molineux to watch Wolves on the big screen. Slightly more at Barnsley to witness their 10th away win of the season, and that was the only bright spot in a disappointing Saturday.